to the WA, live to the WA Premier now.
Western Australia is now in a war, the type of war we have never seen before. I'm going to shortly announce a range of new measures to help protect the health of our community. But before I do, I just want to advise you of some new information. I can advise overnight we have had 30 new cases of coronavirus. That brings our total number of cases in Western Australia to 120. Thus far, we've undertaken nearly 9,500 tests, and more than 1,100 have been completed in regional Western Australia. The department is still working through the contact tracing details for the new cases, but this is what we know. There has been 30 new cases overnight, 11 males and 19 females, aged between 21 and 79. We now have 4 cases reported in regional WA, 1 from the Goldfields and 1 from the Midwest. This is in addition to the 2 confirmed cases in the Southwest. So far, we know that at least 17 of these new cases have travelled to or are linked to overseas travel from various locations around the world. Contact tracing continues in order to determine the travel history and close contacts of the new confirmed cases. There are currently 7 COVID patients in Perth hospitals, 3 at Midland Hospital, one stable, 1 serious, 1 critical. 1 at Royal Perth Hospital who is stable. 3 at Sir Charles Gardner Hospital, 1 critical, 2 stable. We can confirm that one of these 30 new cases is a clinician at Royal Perth Hospital who is directly linked to the previously confirmed case of a Royal Perth Hospital clinician. As the Health Minister outlined yesterday, these numbers reflect the many Western Australians coming home from overseas over recent days. We don't have any hard evidence of community spread in Western Australia, but we know that that is inevitable. I'm going to announce some further measures now we're going to be taking to minimise the spread of coronavirus in Western Australia. But firstly, I want to say this. Please take the social distancing rules announced recently seriously. I was very concerned to see images last night of people not taking the social distancing rules seriously. It is crucial that as individuals we do what is necessary to help minimise the spread of the virus. This is very serious. The majority of our citizens are doing the right thing. The minority need to step up. I want to thank staff across our public health system. Our doctors and our nurses have been magnificent, working tirelessly to date to help plan and prepare for coronavirus outbreaks. And on behalf of all West Australians, I thank them for their hard work, long hours and dedication. I also want to thank all of our other members of the workforce who have been stepping up during this period. Police officers, education staff, essential services workers, wherever you may be, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Today we have agreed on further measures. Effective from 1:30 p.m. on Tuesday this week, we'll be introducing new border controls for Western Australia. These strict new border controls will apply to all access points, roads, rail, air and sea. Unless exempted, arrivals from interstate will be ordered to self-isolate for 14 days. Exemptions will apply for essential services and essential workers. The mining industry we have worked well with, and the trucking industry, to make sure that we get the rules right. We need to continue to ensure that we can have a supply of gas, a supply of essential services, medicines, goods and the like into Western Australia, and that's the work we've been doing over recent days. Can I urge all people from around Australia who want to come to Western Australia on holidays, please cancel your holiday. Please cancel your holiday. Otherwise, you're going to be required to self-isolate in Western Australia, and there'll be specific rules put in place for these people that the Commissioner will shortly outline. This is all about reducing the spread of coronavirus. I've worked in consultation in particular with the Premier of South Australia and the Chief Minister of the Northern Territory on this, our immediate neighbours, and I'd especially like to thank the Premier of South Australia for his consultation over recent days. Finally, one other issue to discuss. We're looking at acquiring very soon some hotels for self-isolation zones so that we can have places to quarantine people who have difficulty self-isolating or who won't self-isolate. In addition to that, we're now actively investigating using Rottnest for this purpose, taking Rottnest Island and turning it into a quarantine zone for Western Australia. The Minister responsible for Rottnest is currently working on plans to ensure that we can put in place this measure as soon as we need it. These are extreme steps, but these are extreme days, and we need to all step up and play our part in one of the greatest crises facing our state in its history. Thanks very much. Commissioner?
I have a message for all West Australians who are presently intending to return home. As outlined by the Premier, whether you're travelling by road, by rail, by air or by sea, by 1:30 p.m. on Tuesday there will be special measures put in place to ensure that both your safety and the safety of the entire community are met. We will publish what those measures mean, but in essence, if you're travelling by road, you will need to be arriving over our border by 1:30 p.m. on Tuesday. If you are not able to make it before then, and we want people to travel very safely and very calmly, then you either do not leave, you stay where you are, or if you're intending to come over, we will be putting in measures which may require you to stay for 14 days at that location. We will be very clear about this. There will be only exceptions for essential travel. So for those people on holiday, you need to make a very deliberate and separate change. I don't want you panicking and speeding. I don't want you doing anything other than keeping calm. The measures will take place across our entire border, whether you're coming through Kununurra, whether you're coming through Eucla by road, whether you're travelling by sea, air, and indeed the Indian Pacific. Of course, there'll be very significant changes. But we will have cargo, we will have essential services, as the Premier's already outlined, be it medicines, food, and those that impact on our resource sector. I'll take the opportunity to thank police officers, those health workers who are on the front line, and all other first responders. You're doing a tremendous job. We will be making separate messages to you. Please keep doing your duty. This is a duty which is keeping our state safer, and I appeal to the community. Again, do not panic buy. We want order. This is a time in which the Premier's already outlined we've got to treat this as wartime. And in wartime, we've seen Australians bond together previously, and they helped each other. They didn't go against each other. So again, a strong reinforcement. Keep calm, but make sure you look after your neighbour. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Premier and Commissioner. Let me too start by thanking all of our essential service workers, doctors, nurses, police and other essential service workers. I'd also like to thank the Premier and his government for taking some really serious steps to try and prevent the spread of this virus. The mining and oil and gas sectors are critical both to keeping the lights on in Western Australia from an electricity perspective, and also to keep revenue coming in for government which pays for hospitals, schools and essential infrastructure that must stay open. And so in consultation with the Premier and his team, we've agreed to massively reduce our footprint but keep open critical operations on mine sites and oil and gas facilities. We're taking extraordinary measures to ensure that our workforce and the communities in which we operate are not impacted. Now's not a time to think about profitability in commerce. It's a time to think about working for your community and making sure that we come out of this difficult time stronger and better, and the mining and oil and gas sector will play a big part in making sure the West Australian and Australian economies come out of this bigger and better.